Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. Be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. Drew Brees is the most influential athlete the state of Louisiana has ever seen. Now, let me quantify that for you, or qualify it. Because we can quantify that statement with championships. And you could say, well, Skip won 5 in baseball. Or you could talk about any of the LSU football coaches that have won. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can quantify success. But the reason that Drew Brees is the most influential athlete, and maybe the most influential sports figure this state has ever seen, is because Drew Brees did something that in sports, in personal relationships with things that we have or have hold of us, in business, in life, one of the hardest things to do is to fundamentally change the culture of something. For 40 years, the New Orleans Saints were losers. My favorite team, some of you, many of you, your favorite team, they were losers. Not even lovable losers like the Cubs were, because people like the Cubbies and they played at daytime on WGN. The Saints just sucked. They had awful ownership. They had awful management. They had bad coaches and players. A history of gaffes. John Gilliam returned the opening kickoff of the franchise for a touchdown, and for 40 years, it never got better. They were the Aints. We wore bags over our heads. We expected them to lose. We expected. Our expectation collectively was they're going to blow it. There they go again. This draft pick won't work. He'll be a bust. They were a punchline. Many people in this state chose to cheer for teams that weren't the Saints because they didn't want to support a loser. And that's what the Saints were for 40 years. Everyone in the NFL knew it, and everyone in the state knew it. And for the last 15 years, every single time the New Orleans Saints took the field, I expected them to win. I'm not saying they were going to go undefeated for 15 years. Don't misunderstand me. I know that's not realistic. My point is, there was never a time, not once, that they ran out onto the field and I thought, well, they're screwed today. No shot. Sure, they were an underdog at times. No doubt. I mean, it happens. But there was never a game that the Saints won over the last 15 years where I went, I can't believe they beat that team. The expectation became they're going to find a way to win. The expectation was Drew Brees is, hey, you're down a score with 2 minutes to go. Drew Brees running out onto the field. The expectation was, well, Drew's going to go lead a game-winning touchdown drive because it's Drew Brees. It is the hardest thing in the world to do, to change the culture around something. And Drew Brees, over the last 15 years, did it in New Orleans. So much so that at this point on this day, so many of the people, you and me, who have cheered for him in this franchise for 40 years or for 50 years now, and for him over the last 15, were actually ready for this moment because we believe the next guy is going to be better. And the only reason we believe that is because he changed the culture around that franchise. the New Orleans Saints won a Super Bowl championship. There was a man, God rest his soul, on radio for a long time in New Orleans, Buddy DiLiberto, who always said he would wear a dress if he ever saw the Saints win a Super Bowl, and he didn't live to see it. But Bobby Hebert wore the dress for Buddy D. But that's how outlandish a thought it was. And Brees climbed that mountain. And he changed the culture so dramatically that even though he won a Super Bowl, and the Saints over the last 4 years won more games than anybody in the NFL, part of the conversation around Drew Brees is actually, man, he should have won more. I mean, never mind the fact that you had a call go against New Orleans, which literally changed the way the NFL judged replay, and another play which has attached to it the name Miracle, the Minneapolis Miracle, that eliminated the Saints from the postseason. Otherwise, who knows? But sometimes the breaks don't go your way. But in total, what's happened is we are bidding farewell to the most influential sports figure in the history of our state, and I don't even think there's an argument for number two. Excuse me. The argument begins at number two. Man, wish Drew Brees all the success in the world in retirement. If it's TV, whatever we all get to watch his kids grow up to be part of this state, this state is going to feel like that family is part of the fabric of this state forever, in the same way that people from New Orleans and from this state cheered for Archie and Eli and Cooper as they've gone on to do great things, and I understand they went to different SEC schools, but you know my point. I think the Brees children 10, 20, 30 years from now will say the same thing about them, wherever they may go. You'll always sort of have an attachment because we saw those children grow up, from Balin reaching for the confetti as Drew Brees hoisted the Lombardi trophy to now they're having four children, whatever they may go on to do. But Drew Brees deserves every good thing that comes his way in retirement. He gave so much to the city of New Orleans, the state of Louisiana, the Gulf region. He rehabilitated his career post-arm injury at the time that New Orleans and the Gulf region were rehabilitating post-Katrina. The symbiotic nature of that is a beautiful story to be told, as it has been written the last 15 years. And I am very interested and excited to see what the future of the Saints organization holds. But whatever it holds, whatever promise it may have, it's because Drew Brees came along and changed the culture from the ain'ts, from the losers that existed for 40 years, to a team we all believe are going to get the next guy right. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.